What is up, you guys? It is your boy John here from Puma Plow. Thank you guys so much for clicking on another Farms of Madison County video. I believe this is episode something 3. I don't even know at this point. I do appreciate you guys clicking on the video. First and foremost, thank you guys for understanding that I had to go MIA for a little bit. We will talk more about that as we get into this video, but I do want to tell you guys quick about the map. I did do a little bit of work in between videos, obviously, on a few trees, but what we really need is we need to increase our hauling capabilities. So we're going to do that first, and then we will talk about where I was, what has happened. Many of you probably know what has happened and where I've been, but we will get into that. Comments from the last video overwhelmingly were by different brands, by lots of different brands. So that is what I'm going to do. I will be buying lots of different brands. For right now, I'm trying to, can we not do what I want to do here? Does this not work? There's no, like, single option? Okay, that's fine. We'll go with the skinny duals. I like this. I want this tractor. I like this tractor. I think this tractor is really cool looking. It seems pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. So there's that. And we're going to stay with the 480 horsepower one. Just because. Why not? Yeah. So let's... oh, there we go. We want the lights and the GPS up there. I don't know. It's a thing. Let's go ahead and we're going to buy this tractor. Okay. So there's that. We really need to increase our hauling capabilities because of what we have going on. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to lease a trailer for what we're doing here. And let's go ahead and just lease this crone. We're going to lease this, like I was saying. We're going to lease the trailer. I have an idea for hauling grain, so I'm not worried about that right now. Actually, let's get 2 of these trailers leased up. But overwhelming from the last video was, you know, lots of brands, lots of different tractors, whatever kind of. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting different brands when we actually go to purchase tractors. For right now, we're just leasing tractors I'm going to lease this tractor to help me haul wood chips. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's check on our stuff. We got our John Deere running on Courseplay. I've obviously been using Courseplay. I love Courseplay. You guys know this about me by now. Fantastic. Gotta love Courseplay. We've also got our New Holland running on Courseplay as well, and our Massey Ferguson running on Courseplay as well. Here's our new John Deere. Hopefully it's not too wide, honestly. Hopefully it's not too wide for our course that we already have set up. But for right now, this is going to be okay. We do want to go in here, if I can remember how to get to the thing. I don't remember the controller. We go. Got it. Turn that off for right now. We don't need that on. I will tell you guys, it has been, well, today would have been 13 days since I've actually played Farm Sim. So what we're gonna do right now, guys, is I'm gonna go ahead and drive this stuff over, and then we will continue to, you know, cut trees down and stuff using the brush. But for right now, actually, you know what? Does that work? Do I have that mod? I guess that's not working. I thought I had follow me, but because it should like yell at me and say, hey, there's nothing like close. So maybe I just don't know the button combo. Anyway, so we'll drive the stuff over, get it on the course, and we'll be good to go. So I want to talk about me going MIA. I know that many of you already know what I'm about to say. It was a very difficult time for myself and the family. After, let's see, let's go back. I'm going to get a calendar in front of me, actually, so I can kind of get my dates right. Just, you know, why not? So it would have been Wednesday, May 1st, in the morning of May 1st. We sent Mom to dialysis just like normal, like a normal day. I will tell you that she was extremely weak that day, and you know, she was pretty well like with it still, but she was weak. You could tell she was weak. And I guess even backing up farther than that, she had not been eating for about 3 to 4 weeks at that point. And to be completely honest, I think I even told Twitch guy in TeamSpeak, I said, you know, I don't want to honestly admit, but like you could see the writing on the wall starting to come clear, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to say like I saw this coming, but like you could kind of see this coming in a way. You know, I was with her every single day, and I could kind of see where this was gonna go if she didn't, you know, eat. And the fact of the matter is that she had stopped eating about 3 to 4 weeks before that. So really back in like early April, she had stopped eating. And let's test this out real fast just to make sure. Yeah, I was worried about this. These dual tires are not going to work. So this tractor is going to be out for running this course because there is no solo single tire option on this thing. So we'll lease up another tractor and get it over here. So basically, since Mom had stopped eating, you know, the body gets very weak. And yeah, so when we sent her to dialysis on the 1st, the dialysis nurse at the center basically took one look at Mom and went, no, this isn't right. And I guess actually we can back up a little bit farther here, and that would have been like on the no, I got to back up into April here. It would have been like April the 26th. Yeah. April the 26th, when she was at dialysis, she had a little bit of an issue where she bled. I don't want to say bled, you know, bleeding out, but she bled after dialysis for about an hour. It has happened in the past. It's kind of a thing that happens with dialysis, you know. Sometimes you just bleed a little more than you should afterwards. Well, she came home and was very, very weak. She also, wow, that was quite a frame hit. She also had a dialysis scheduled for the 27th, so it would have been back-to-back days of dialysis because we'd been fighting fluid around her lungs. And she was on very, very strict fluid restrictions here at the house and when she'd go to dialysis, of course, and whatever. But they did dialysis on the 27th, and there again, she had a bit of a bleeding issue. So when she came home on the 27th, you could just tell she wasn't right. She was very weak because of the bleeding and stuff. Losing all that blood when you're not eating is not a good thing, of course. So fast forward to the 29th, she had dialysis. Everything was fine. She came home, you know, everything was okay. And then fast forward to the 1st. So we sent her to dialysis on the 1st. And we thought, you know, in the morning, okay, she's weak, but she hasn't been eating, you know, whatever. Let's go ahead and send her. You know, that nurse at the dialysis center is very, very good to her. And, you know, we really, really like that nurse, okay? One of our favorites, to be honest. As a family, she was one of our favorite nurses. So, yeah, so we sent Mom. Everything we thought was okay. I mean, obviously she was weak, and you could definitely tell. But we still thought she was okay enough to go. Otherwise, we would not have sent her. We would have taken her to the hospital. Well, she got to the dialysis center, and the nurse at the dialysis center basically took one look at her and said, no, we're not doing this. And called her an ambulance and sent her down to our local hospital. Where Mom used to go to dialysis was about 15 to 20 minutes away. So they called an ambulance and sent her to the hospital that was closest to our house, the one that we prefer, the one that I was born at, my father was born at. Mom spent 5 weeks in that hospital last year. You know, it's our hospital. We know the staff, we know the ER staff, we know the doctors. All of her doctors, you know, have privileges at the hospital so they could see her there, and it just made sense. So thankfully to the nurse from the dialysis center sending her to our hospital, as we call it, our hospital. So we get the call. Dad and I head to the emergency room. Mom beat us there by just a couple minutes. And basically they said, okay, she's got fluid around both of her lungs now, especially the right lung. We had been fighting the left lung for a while. Fluid around the right lung. Keep in mind, it's Wednesday. She needs dialysis. So they ended up doing dialysis that evening. or I should say, tried to do dialysis that evening. Her blood pressure crashed. And when that happens, they basically just take you off the dialysis machine and let you go to sleep, because that's what you want to do. So mom went back to her room. Everything was hunky-dory. That was Wednesday night. Thursday rolls around, and they started thinking stroke. At times, she would lean kind of to one side or the other, and it was never like a particular thing, or she maybe had a little bit of a face droop from time to time on her left side, and so they started thinking stroke. Well, then they ran all these tests. They wanted to do an MRI. Okay? They really wanted to do an MRI. Mom had been through an MRI several months ago and absolutely refused to go through another MRI. Mom didn't want to do it. Okay? So there's the writing on the wall coming a little bit true here, if you know what I'm saying. We were not going to fight Mom on it. Mom didn't want to do it. We weren't going to fight her, let her do what she wanted to do. She was of a solid enough mindset, we thought, to continue to make medical decisions. So we let her make her decision. And, we talked about it as a family. Dad and I were there by her side the whole time, basically. And we talked about it as a family. And we really did. We talked about it a lot. And she was okay with her choice not to get an MRI because they were worried about stroke, like I said. So, no MRI. She refused that. She said she'd do another CAT scan, which she already had one done when we went into the hospital. And they were saying that there was possibly some old stroke, some strokes that she had had in the past showing up. Really doesn't pertain to what was going on at the current time. So nobody was really concerned about that. The problems we were having and were continuing to have were basically she was weak, obviously, and you can kind of just expect that when somebody's not eating. They get oh, this won't hook up to this, will it? This tractor doesn't have a 3-point hitch. Okay, anyway, we'll use this tractor for something. I don't know what yet, but I just really wanted to have this John Deere tractor. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this thing. So fast forward to Friday in the hospital. They come in, hey, we want to do dialysis today. And it was a very difficult time, obviously, for us as a family and for Mom and everything. And she decided that she did not want to go through dialysis anymore. Now, when somebody needs dialysis and they choose not to go through it anymore, basically what happens, and it's, a whole thing, but basically what is going to happen is, to be completely honest, death is imminent. Our nephrologist, which is a kidney doctor, was very, very good to us and explained to us what would happen, how it would happen, how long it might take. And she said it could take up to 6 weeks. And man, at that point I was like, I can't do this for 6 weeks. Just watching Mom go through everything for 6 weeks would have been just, the worst thing ever. So that was Friday, and we kind of made the choice to call pretty much everybody in the family, like, hey, this is what's going on. You need to get here. People flew in from out of town to see Mom, and it kind of turned into a whole thing. So that was Friday. Saturday morning, or Friday night still, she actually asked my dad, she's like, if I have a good night, we'll give it a second chance tomorrow. Or she asked if she could get a second chance. And we said, absolutely. If you want dialysis Saturday, we'll get you dialysis Saturday, No big deal. We can make it happen. The doctor was very good to her and saying that, if she wanted it, she could have it whenever and whatever. So Saturday morning comes around, and she was very adamant that she did not want dialysis again. Now, the doctor went through everything again. This is what's going to happen if you don't get dialysis. You're basically going to slip into a coma, is what actually happens, because, you need your dialysis. If you're, oh my God, did I really just get stuck? If you're not getting your dialysis, obviously it's not good for you. Your toxins from your kidneys are going to build up. Oh my God, what a traffic jam we have over here. Holy cow. This is terrible. Wow. This is really bad over here. So the toxins in the kidneys are going to build up, and like I said, death is kind of imminent. You know, it could take, which, like I said before, I didn't see it taking this long, but they said it could take up to 6 weeks. And it's like, holy cow, if we have to sit here and watch mom go through this for 6 weeks, this is not going to be good for any of us, you know. So that was Saturday morning. Sunday, well, she got to see family Saturday. A lot of family came up Saturday to see her brother, and you know, some out of town kids of hers, my siblings and stuff, were able to make it, and different stuff, and we had a good day Saturday. You know, it was an okay day. Sunday morning rolls around, and she was still doing okay. She wasn't herself anymore. I would say she would look at you. You know, you could say, "Hey, Mom, can you smile at us?" She would smile, but she didn't really talk, which was very different for her. You know, I think I know where I get it from between her and Dad. I like to talk, so I mean, they definitely both did, and you could just kind of tell on Sunday that things weren't going to take too much longer, if you know what I'm saying. And so Monday rolls around, and my brother from Georgia was able to make it up Monday. He flew in Monday at like 10 o'clock, which was very nice of him to, you know, kind of drop everything and come in. Mom, of course, appreciated it, and, you know, she was able to wake up and at least see him, smile at him, you know, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say she was talking on Monday at all, but she was able to know that he was there for sure. So that was nice for him and for all of us, really. So her cousin actually came up Monday too. Her cousin that she's not seen in quite some time. Are they going to fix themselves or not? They might. Yeah, they are. At least those two are. We'll see about the other ones. So her cousin was able to come up and, you know, kind of see her and talk to her, and she wasn't really talking or responding. A couple times they had given her some medicine to, I don't want to say slow her heart rate down, but that's exactly what they did. It was, her heart rate was getting a little out of hand and stuff like that. So they did have to give her some medicine for that. Monday, I would say maybe at like noon or 1 o'clock, they gave her her first dose of morphine. Morphine is a sedative, painkiller. I'm not totally sure, honestly. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. My buddy Matt, he's in the medical world. He might correct me in the comments. They gave her her first dose of morphine. I know what morphine does to people when they're in compromised health. We've been through this before with my grandparents. And, you know, it was very scary, honestly. It really was terrifying. Kind of going through this and watching and all that stuff. So they gave her her first dose. It helped for a while. She calmed down. She was able to kind of just rest, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, when you go through and you're not getting your dialysis, it's basically you slip into a coma is basically what it is. And she was kind of, I guess, in and out on Monday. They ended up giving her another dose of morphine because her heart rate was up, and you could just tell she was in pain. And of course, we didn't like that. The nurses, the doctors up at the hospital were fantastic and, you know, very responsive when we needed something. So they ended up giving her a second dose. And then about 4:40, 4:45, something like that, or about 4:30, I guess, I hit the call light. I was not happy with the way Mom was looking. She was breathing very hard. It was like a lot for her to breathe, you could tell. And you know, the goal of everybody was to make her comfortable, and she wasn't comfortable. So we had to get the nurse in, and the nurse talked to the doctor, and they ended up getting her another dose of morphine. This time it was through the IV. The other ones were actually oral. It was like a little syringe they put in her mouth and shot her up with a little morphine. These other ones were oral, and or the last one was Ivy, and it was the last one. Let me put it that way. She was able to relax. Pretty much the whole family was there. Almost everybody. One of the out-of-towners had to go back on Sunday morning, and then there was another person that wasn't there at the time they showed up, just a few minutes later, and we were able to say their goodbyes, because this is the part I was trying not to be emotional for. Monday, what would that have been, the 6th, right at 5 p.m. she took her last breath, and in a weird way, I've been talking to a lot of people about this, but in a very strange way, it was kind of beautiful. I was right there with her, and Dad was there with her, and pretty much all the family was standing around her bed. And you know, they always say the people that go in their sleep are the lucky ones. I don't think so, because the love that was around Mom when she took her last breath, like I wouldn't have traded that for the world. And yeah, just the love that was there in that room for Mom was kind of special. And when she took her last breath, right about 5 o'clock, we could hear the church bells ringing at the church across the street from the hospital. And some of us kind of think it was a sign, you know. The gates were opening, and they were ringing those bells, and they were welcoming her. And yeah, so we had her funeral the other day, and she's buried in a cemetery not too far actually from the house. It's our like city cemetery kind of thing, and it was a lovely service, and we got to catch up with a lot of friends and family that you know, we haven't seen in a while because Mom's been sick, so we haven't really been doing anything. And I will tell you, it's comforting in a way that she's not in pain. And after the last year and a half that we've been through as a family, with all of her medical stuff, I mean, you guys know some of it. Maybe you guys don't know all of it. And I don't think you guys necessarily need to know all of it, but over the last year and a half with her medical stuff, it's just like there's a weight lifted. And of course, I would love to have her back, but I know that she's resting, and she's in a better place. The last year and a half, like I said, was very rough on the family, and yeah, so she's in a better place, and obviously it's hard. It's not easy. I don't know how I'll get through it, but I know I will. Jumping back in, making videos, this is part of it. I probably am going to try not to, you know, dwell on it too much, obviously, in videos anyway. Of course, I'm doing my own thing and in my off time, you know, but in videos, I'm going to try not to, of course, keep bringing it up or anything. I will say that I appreciate the overwhelming support that I've had on Instagram, because I made a post there after she passed that next day, or that night actually. I made a post. The overwhelming support there, the kind people in TeamSpeak, which I know many of you are watching this video. You guys have been great to me, to the family through all of this. Of course, like I said, it's not easy. It's not going to get easier for a while. The little things that, you know, once may have complained about, it's like, man, I miss those little things now. So I will tell you guys, if you have parents, if you have grandparents, man, just appreciate them. Let them know how much you care about them. So you never know when it's going to be too late, and you're not going to be able to. We were able, as a family, to spend so much time with her in the last couple days in the hospital. Like I said before, the hospital staff was fantastic to us. The doctors and the nurses, there of course were some issues along the way. Had to run a couple people out of the room after Mom made her decision that she was done. You know, there was a nutritionist or a speech therapist that came in the one day, and I'm like, really? We don't need to know about nutrition because Mom passed that afternoon, you know. But I know they're just doing their job, and like I said, the staff at the hospital was fantastic to us. The staff at the funeral home was fantastic to us, and we just couldn't have asked for, you know, better staff and stuff through all of this. And to be completely honest, through all of Mom's medical stuff in the past year and a half ish, we have met some fantastic people that she really got to know, really got to love, and just great people. Some friends that we will have forever through all of this as well. We will know these people, at least some of them, for forever. The doctors, the nurses. I spent 3 nights at the hospital with Mom. I basically didn't leave her side once she told me that she was done and she made her decision for no more dialysis. I told her I wouldn't leave her side, and I only did for a few minutes here and there, basically to use the bathroom and take a shower occasionally. Otherwise, I ate in the waiting room right down the hall. I didn't leave the floor for sometimes up to 24 hours at a time. I wouldn't leave the floor that she was on at the hospital. And, you know, those are just the things you do, you know. I was not about to leave Mom alone at that hospital once she made her choice. And the beautiful thing that I just hang my hat on, or get to go forward, is that she got to make the choice for no more dialysis. Dialysis is very hard on the body. It's very hard to go through. A lot of people, unless you either know somebody who has been through it or you've been through it yourself, they don't realize how difficult it actually is. It is one of the most difficult, like, medical things to go through. Chemo, of course, would be like worse, but dialysis 3 days a week is very hard on the body and very, very difficult. So, like I said, people just don't realize how difficult it can be. And like I said, I think it's just a beautiful thing that she got to make the choice. Full well knowing what was going to happen and how it was going to happen, because our doctor was great to us and walked us through everything and how this is going to happen and how this is going to happen, and usually this is what happens and everything like that. Our doctor was so good to us and walking us through all of it. Oh, baby, watch out. So it's just a beautiful thing, honestly, that she got to make that choice. And she got to see all of her kids before she passed. I think that was a very important thing that she would have wanted. She got to see all of her kids, and of course all of her kids were at the service and everything. So she definitely would have wanted that. So there were some beautiful times along the way, through the pain and the hard times as well. And obviously got to remember the good times, because that's what's going to get us all through it, are the good times. So there are lots of good times that I can remember, of course, with Mom, and some good times in the last year and a half. The last year and a half with all her medical stuff was very difficult on all of us, but there were also some good times, some good laughs in that last year and a half as well, that make the hard times now just a little bit easier, So we've got to remember the good times. You got to have the bad times to have the good times, and you just got to hang your head on the good times and not try to dwell on the bad times. Kind of like this stick in the bush here. So I know I'm butchering this for us, guys. I know the stump grinder attachment works for some of you. I cannot get it to work hardly, like most of the time at all, to be honest. I know it's probably a patience thing. I don't have any right now. I am trying to jump back in to this whole Twitch YouTube thing. I'm trying to jump back in and be John from Puma Plow again. It's going to take a while. It really is. This is my first video that I'm making, and we'll see where it goes from there. We'll see about the other series, by the way. I might be done with that one. I'm not sure. What I know right now is I'm making this video, and we'll just see where everything goes after this, you know? We will see. So, as far as what my schedule is right now, I don't know. I don't know what my schedule is. Like I said, I know I'm playing this right now, and well, that's pretty much just that. So, hey, I got the stump grinder to work. The other thing I know is I need to be done here in just a second. I'm in my overtime. But we will get to that. We will get to that. So I realize I have a mess to clean up out here. I know it's bad. I know. I'll get it all cleaned up. I actually plan on playing after this video for a little while. And cleaning up a bunch more of this, because you guys have seen this enough now. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I will also note, thanks to the comments from the last video, Matt, my buddy Matt, these trees I cannot get rid of. Cannot get rid of these oversized, like, brushy bush things, whatever you want to call them. They're there forever. So that is something to keep in mind, but that is okay. We will farm through them, farm around them, whatever we have to do. We will plow on and have to do a lot of plowing as well. We'll get into that in the next video. Probably going to be plowing next video. I'm not going to film it today. I'm going to film it probably tomorrow or sometime after this video comes out. So if you guys have any comments or questions or concerns, feel free to leave them down below. But with that, I appreciate you guys listening to the story, especially if you made it this far in the video. Know that she... I don't know what I was going to say there, but I appreciate the support, and I know that you guys got my back, and you guys understand that I had to take like 2 weeks away, and I may have to take some more time. I don't know yet. I'm going to do what I can, and that's as good as I can do. So until the next video, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for that. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, toodles.